Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you and welcome to the House Ways and Means Committee's Education Subcommittee meeting. We're going to get started with our first and only bill, which is Senate Bill 427. Alistair, you want to tell us what this bill does?
Yes, so this is the cross file of House Bill 205. And as it came in from the Senate, this bill, so if you remember, we sent HB 205 to the Senate unamended, and it required that menstrual hygiene product dispensers be installed in fiscal year 2022, I think this year, in two restrooms in a public or middle school and one restroom in an elementary school. As the Senate sent the bill back to us, they removed the language about, and I'm sorry, we had it by 2025 that they be included in all restrooms if the restrooms were not divided by gender, and in at least one men's restroom and all the women's restrooms if the restrooms were divided by gender. The Senate sent it back to us with a requirement that they be installed in all women's restrooms in public and middle school by 2025, but in no men's rooms and in no elementary school rooms. They also included language requiring that the governor appropriate $325,000 to be used to reimburse counties for the cost of installing the menstrual hygiene product dispensers. So that was the bill as it came in.
Got it. Okay. Any discussion, any questions? Delegate Smith and then Delegate Ebersol.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess my question for you, Alistair, is I know that, for example, in Baltimore City, we have a growing combination of elementary middle schools. They're K through 8s, not, kind of the standard K through 5. I guess I'm trying to figure out how does that interact with this amendment that would say you can't have them in an elementary school if they're kind of combined?
It wouldn't say you can't have them. And there's actually a proposed amendment to this, but.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I think that's a good question. I think it would be up to the county boards to interpret what the definition of elementary school or middle school is for the purposes of this bill. So in the proposed amendment, you would still have to have one in an elementary school, which is the
okay, good.
And out by the house. So
that was my follow-up about biology and the fact that some people do have their periods before they enter middle school, but it seems like you guys are handling that. So I will put my hand down.
Let me do this. Let me do this before we move on to the next question. Alistair, can you tell us what the amendment does first?
Yes, absolutely. So the amendment, it keeps the Senate's language on limiting them to women's restrooms, but it requires that there be one in each elementary school. And additionally, it increases the mandatory appropriation by the governor to accommodate those additional dispensers that would be installed in elementary schools. So rather than a $325,000 appropriation, there's a $500,000 appropriation that would go to each county board to install these.
Got it. Okay. Delegate Ebersol.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. The appropriation is a one-time appropriation.
It is a one-time appropriation, but because it's only for the installation of the dispensers, not for the upkeep, which would still be required by the county. Additionally, there is a requirement that the number of dispensers must be increased in 2025 to cover all women's rooms in public middle and high schools. There's not an additional appropriation for that, but there is an additional requirement that the county board send in to the governor additional updates on the cost of that, so that I think a future governor and legislature can determine whether more money needs to be appropriated.
But nothing about us filling in for new and renovated buildings or anything like that. They just have to do that themselves.
Yeah, this will apply to all restrooms
No, but I was saying if they built new buildings or they renovated a building, it's on them then if they do that in the future. We're not on the hook to pay for these every single time, right?
Okay. Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
That was the nature of my question. Sorry, I didn't make it clear.
Thank you. Great. Okay. Delegate Pavlovich-Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Alistair, can you clarify? So the amendment that's before the committee, I had heard that the House and Senate sponsors, I guess, had struck some deal. Is that the amendment that's before us from the committee?
Yes,
Okay,
so we also have before us House Bill 205 as they amended it, which is in the same version as this proposed amendment to the Senate bill, where it would apply to elementary schools, but it would take out the language on men's rooms and bathrooms that are not divided by gender.
All right, any other questions, comments? On the amendment that is suggested here, do I hear a
Move
motion?
favorable.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of the amendment say aye.
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 All opposed? On the bill as amended, Holmberg, was that you opposed? Can't tell, we're gonna move on. On the bill as amended,
Move favorable.
Move favorable.
Second.
Second.
motioned to move favorable and seconded by all the women of the subcommittee.
Yeah, I can
In
second
stereo.
it too, by the way. I second also. I'm not going to shut out my gender here.
Got it. All right. All those in favor, any discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Delegate Hartman. And Delegate Rose is not here. Okay, that passes.
She
All
just
right,
popped
thanks
up.
everyone. You say what?
I think she just popped up in the background over there, but.
Nah, I think
That was a waitress.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sorry.
that was
I apologize.
waitress.
Sorry,
Alistair,
Delegate
stop
Rose.
talking, man. Stop talking. All right, guys, that completes the work at the desk
I
here.
think staff is the word we were looking for. It was a staffer, wasn't it, behind them?
I would just say that we will have some other bills coming up that they send back over to us. First off, that